have to follow the rules, so we have 1 more minute. So just 1 second.
Good thing you got a microphone. No, with your voice. Good thing you have a microphone.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yes.
That's what she said. Oh, wow.
Okay, everyone, it is 6:30. I welcome you. I'm Mayor Debbie Martin, in case you didn't know, but I think you all do. I'd first like to apologize for my voice. I'm getting over laryngitis, the flu, you name it. I've had it. I'd like to welcome Councilmember Dave Brown tonight. And in the back is going to be sworn in on January 14th, Councilmember J.J. Jackson. The other council members are traveling, so they're unable to be here. We also have Jen Williams. She's going to be doing our minutes and our video and audio. And, of course, our city manager, Jennifer Kidd Harrison. And I want to recognize somebody in the audience who's always been here and has been really great. In fact, the compliments that I've received on his last write-up in the paper was outstanding. And that's our paper guy, Ben Morris. So thank you, Ben. I know you are not here to listen to me. You can barely hear me anyway. So it is my pleasure. I don't think there's any introductions necessary, but I'm very pleased to introduce to you District 3 Commissioner Chad Bingham.
It's my turn?
It's all your turn.
Okay.
Mike's going off on my
side.
Yeah,
she said, I have laryngitis. You have to take all the questions and do all the answers. So ask some good questions, I guess. Like you said, my name is Chad Bingham. I'm the District 3 Commissioner. For those that don't know, that's really Houston and Brazelton, and then up 124 across Gum Springs, across Traditions down, and then back over to the county line. There's at Highway 60, it gets to 85, does some kind of I really wish I could actually see that line where it goes over to the Jackson County, Hall County line through there, cuts through some neighborhoods. So that's District 3. Landmass-wise, we are the smallest district. Some of you may or may not know they redistricted a year and a half ago, I guess, and we came up with 5 districts. So we're still District 3. Wanted to say thank you, first of all, for you guys for coming out, taking your time tonight. Thank you, Mayor, for the invite and the council members that showed up. It's always good to see citizens who are concerned. You know, with these things, you never know. Sometimes you can sit in a room by yourself, and sometimes they'll fill the room, and usually when the room is really full, it's not going to be a good meeting. It's weird like that. You know, people get upset, they come to talk to you. I really do want to talk about my wife and kids. For anybody that doesn't know, I've been married to my wife, Sarah, for almost 20 years, 18. Thank you. And if any of you have ever met my wife, you will know that I way outkicked my coverage. Yeah, I'm either a really good salesperson, I say, or she needed glasses before she realized it. But so we got 4 kids. They are 15, 12, he'll be 8 next week, and 5. So a lot of stuff going on in our house, a lot of chasing around of kids for ballet and taekwondos and soccer and everything else. And, oh, don't forget 2 dogs. I don't want to leave them out. Unfortunately, fortunately for them, they're down at my mom and dad's on a farm that my parents have down in Macon, hunting, driving 4-wheelers, having a good time. So they're not really upset they're not up here with me. But, you know, I like to start these meetings. I want you guys to think about Jackson County, what you know about Jackson County. And I want you to think about where you want Jackson County to go. What does Jackson County look like to you in your mind, right? Everybody's going to have a different version. But what does it look like? What do the roads look like? What does the city of Houston look like? What does Jackson County look like? What does the first responders look like? What do schools look like? I know quite a few people here probably don't have kids in the school system, but we all want an educated society. So what does that look like? How do we get there is really the question I like to ask people, because there's all kinds of different ways to get from here to there. And so for you guys that don't know, I'm actually running for the chair of the county commission. And one of the things that I like to do is have these kind of meetings and just talk about when I got into this, the race the first time to run for District 3, where I thought Jackson County could go and where I thought we could make Jackson County the best place that it could be. And I still believe that, and I still work toward that, and we'll talk about some of the things that we've got going on and some of the things that we've worked with Houston and some other municipalities here in just a second. But, you guys have a big choice coming here in May of next year to decide who's going to lead this county. Whose vision is it that you want? If you're happy with Jackson County and the direction it's going, I'm not going to be the person you probably want to vote for. The other folks who are running have been around a long time. They've been on the planning commissions for 15, 16 years. They've, board of commissioners and everything else. And, they have directed this county in the direction it is. So if that's the direction you like, by all means, you probably want to look somewhere other than me. But there are a lot of moving parts to Jackson County. One of the things that obviously we want to talk about tonight is the taxes, right? I know that's a big thing. Of course, this past year there were some, let's just say, spirited conversations that were had across Jackson County about the tax assessments when they came out. And it's good news, right? The values are going up. Okay, that's okay, good. I like that. Necessarily don't want to pay 30-40% tax rate increases. Not in favor of that. But most importantly, so we tried to figure out some things we could do on taxes. A lot of you guys know that we were able to get the school board to pass the senior tax homestead improvements moving toward an exemption. I wrote some numbers down. I'm trying to make sure that I get them right. That at 62, okay, so what I'm going to go over now, some of you guys have heard the old numbers that Ty Clack and all of us had put together with the legislation. Now the legislators have gotten a hold of it, made some adjustments to what their resolution is going to be at the state level. So I'm just going to tell you the resolution as it looks like it's going to be now. We don't know until it actually gets there, but this is what we think is going to be. At 62, they will move up to a $40,000 homestead exemption. At 65, it moves up to 75, and at 70, it goes to 125. Two good extra things. They're adding a freeze to your taxes at 65. So once you freeze at 65, that's the highest your taxes can be. Now, the benefit of that is they gave you the out. If for some reason the economy goes down, house values go down, and your taxes were to go down, you can come out of the freeze and refreeze it. So you get all the benefit if you fall in that category without the punishment of being stuck. If you, let's just say your house is currently worth $400,000 and all of a sudden it drops to $250,000, you're not stuck paying the $400,000 taxes. You get to move. The other thing is the school board had taken out the income qualifier, basically saying there was a $25,000 income qualifier, which basically means if you were a greeter at Walmart or worked at McDonald's, you were pretty much going to make too much money you're going to lose your exemption. So the school board wanted to remove that. The legislators have put in a $400,000 cap, I guess, and I'm not going to speak for them, but I mean, my thought would be, I guess, if you're in that kind of a category where you're making that kind of money, maybe the tax exemptions aren't, necessarily as effective or doesn't affect you as much. So another thing, the commissioners on our side, right, there's two parts of the tax bill, the school bill, and then the commission side of the bill. So the commissioners at our last meeting, we passed our own version. So we are actually increasing the same thing for the seniors, not at the same levels. I believe, don't hold me to this because they've got the resolution, but I've got a bunch of numbers running around in my brain. I think at 62, we fix it to 10,000 period, and then at 65, I think it moves up to 50,000. But anyway, so what that does, it actually offsets in the budget, for the county, several $100,000 that we'll talk about in a minute, how you replace that kind of income or revenue, I should say. But that's an additional effort by the commissioners to help the senior citizens. All the time on a regular basis, I would get comments, I get text messages, whatever. You're just trying to run the seniors out of town. You're trying to tax us out of town. You're trying to, tax these families who have been here forever. You're trying to tax them out of town. That's by no stretch of the imagination was that true. We just needed time to fix it. We had to get a hold of the tax digest. And for anybody who doesn't know what a tax digest is, if you basically evaluated all 38,000 parcels in Jackson County at 100%, that would be the tax digest, and then we take the percentage off of that. So, again, I kept telling everybody we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. Sure enough, as soon as we got the tax digest, we fixed it. And then hopefully when the bills came out, you guys were pleasantly surprised from where you were to where it ended up. It wasn't everything we wanted, but it was a lot better than where it started. So, there's a question? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard somebody have a question. Huh? Okay, well, we'll talk about it. No, you're fine. We'll talk about it in a second. No problem. Then, let's see. The schools. I know that, again, with the building that's going on in this side of the county, the growth, Jackson County being the fastest growing county in the state of Georgia, depending on whose chart you're looking at, it's usually us or Forsyth. And then Barrow County, I think, is number 4. So this whole area is just blowing up around here. We've got some things that I've worked on since I got in, not just with the school tax, but I've also worked with the school board to find land and landowners to pair them up, have meetings with them to say, where can we put schools? So I have brokered a couple of meetings for the school board to do that, and it looks like both of those opportunities are going to come to fruition from the school board. They've authorized the superintendent to move forward with those contracts. So hopefully when they come out, those will be a good thing. I say that not to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but what you're going to hear going into, this season and elections is things that people want to do, what they think they can do, what they'd love to, ideas of what they want to get done. And there are those people who talk about doing it, and then there's those of us that, actually do these things and have these conversations and meet with the municipalities and the fire chiefs and police chiefs and try to figure this thing out. How is it a good benefit, not just for the county, but also for Houston, for Brazelton, for the other municipalities? And because we all got to work together, right? The rising tide lifts all boats. The only way a boat sinks is if water gets on the inside, right? So we can't be sitting around shooting holes in our own boat, right? And I'm glad to say that since Mayor Martin and some of the other council members have gotten in, we've had meetings with the county in different parts of the county, and we are moving timetables forward. We actually have timetables. We have a lot of good things that are going on with the cooperation, us in Brazelton, us in Jefferson, with grant money and all those kind of things where we're trying to help take money that the county has access to or can get access to and try to help the municipalities where they can. So, again, it's about getting things done and not just talking about what you would like to see. Let's see. Okay, it'll be just a second. And yeah, one of the things I would like for you guys to do, we have a strategic plan that's going to come online for Jackson County. Obviously, the municipalities will be participating, but here in the next year, there'll be a part for citizen input, and we would love to have as many people as possible have input into that. One of the most disheartening things is to spend a year getting that ready to go. We get it done, and then the next year we start implementing that plan, and then we have meetings and people come and they're mad. Why are you putting that there? Why are you doing that here? You didn't let us have our say. For an entire year, we asked for input and didn't hear from anybody, so we did the best that we could. So I'm asking that whenever these opportunities come up, you participate, get involved where you can. So anyway, that's a little bit about me and just some of the things that we've been working on. And I really want this to be about you and the people of Houston and Jackson County and what you would like to see. So fire away, whatever questions you have. Go ahead.
My name's Dave. I'll talk loud now.
Well, we have it on my street, so we'll use mine. I'll get this set up if you want to put this one.
Sure.
Okay,
you got it. No singing.
I promise.
Hey, thanks for coming out. Appreciate
Sure.
it, especially during the Christmas holiday. I'm sorry you're not with your family. Family's the most precious thing there is.
They are.
So I have 3 topics.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So one is from your view,
Mhm.
and the rapid growth of Jackson County, where do you see, or how does the county address the population distribution within Jackson County, West Jackson versus East Jackson? It seems like most of it's coming over here on this side,
Mhm.
which means more burden on this side of the county, and what the county has, if there's anything at all.
Mhm.
The second issue, and you may have read the article about the renters concerned. I know there was an issue in Jefferson. Now we're concerned here in the city about corporations coming in, understanding apartments. Everybody expects renters there. I don't think the public expects, though, is for a company to come in, buy 53 homes, build homes, and then turn it into a renters community.
Yeah, build to rent. Yep.
Yeah, and so it seems to be a relatively new issue.
Mhm.
Is there anything at the county level, if you could address it to, if it's, or are we at the beginning of it and it's just coming up fresh to the county as well, but with Jefferson and us there.
Mhm.
And then the third issue, or topic rather, is if you could go into, and I'm a 11th month resident of Jefferson County,
Okay.
or Jackson County, excuse me, is the prison that we have in the county. For every dollar that it takes to run the prison, what's the state giving us? What is the residents of Jackson County paying? Is there a return, a financial or other return to the county? And I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the prison has, they supplement the fire department, and that the fire department's actually hired some of these prisoners to be there. And I think that's a great program, because I'm all about rehabilitation.
Mhm.
So those are my three topics. Thanks.
Okay. Let me stretch for a second. Okay. All right. First, we'll start with how to address the population east versus west. With the interstate being on the west side of the county, you're just going to get faster growth on the west side of the county. Okay. As people move up, they want access, even though they're running away from Gwinnett County or Atlanta, they still want their Mall of Georgias, right? They still want to have the access to get there. And it's just a progression. I mean, you look at from Atlanta up to here, as it's moved north, it happens the same way. Right off the interstate, that's where the restaurants want to be, that's where the industry wants to be, therefore that's where people want to be, and it just builds from there, and the shockwave will go out across the county. So, as far as the county is concerned, we've implemented some things like half-acre lot minimums, 3/4 acre if you're on a septic, and then a full acre if you're on a well and a septic. With that, the municipalities have their own set of rules and what they want to do. Once a piece of property is annexed away from the county and into a municipality, what we want is basically to have a conversation so that we know what's coming. In some cases, we're in charge of the infrastructure delivery, whether it be roads or water and sewer, those kind of things. Sometimes we're not. But all we ask is that we know, kind of in advance, in the school system, same thing, so that as we're growing like that, we want the communication. Haven't really seen that recently, until recently, I should say. A lot better communication going on right now between the school systems and the municipalities and the county itself. I make it a point to have breakfast or lunch with the Board of Education members, also council members, a coffee or something, just to sit and talk. Like, what does Houston want to be? What do you want out here? How can we help? Where can we get involved? Whether that's helping with the water issues, which we are involved in and continue to work on with Houston. They've got some really good ideas. And I just can't express to you guys enough the leadership that this group has already taken, that just got in, and how fast they have moved several things forward in the county and the discussions around things that really matter to Houston. They have done a really, really good job, and they have openly communicated with us and invited us into meetings as often as possible. So that's how we do it. We got to work together. I mean, it can't be the municipalities doing whatever they want, we're doing whatever we want, and then the fire chief and the police chief or the sheriff well, good luck, right? It doesn't work, and we've watched it not work now for a while. So build to rent, unfortunately, I'm not sure that there's anything we really can do to stop that. We've got some people looking into it, but we had this situation happen where we've got it in unincorporated Jackson County. The builder was building homes to sell. Venture capitalists came in and said, hey, I don't want to just buy the lots. I want to buy your whole operation. So how do you stop that? Venture capital comes in and offers you stupid money for what you have. I mean, a builder's there to make money, right? He sells it and they rent it. And they got one side that's the building side. They have the rental company on the other side. It's all under the same roof and the same, you're just swapping hands. So they've almost gotten away from just coming in on their own and buying the property and doing the build to rent. They've gotten a little smarter. They let the local, usually it's the small to medium sized builders. It's not the, Hortons and all the, national builders. They get the local guys who they know, hey, these guys stand to make $500,000 if we go in and offer them $1 million, as a profit to what they've done. Of course they're going to sell it. So that's a tough one. We're looking for something and a way to do that. Prison costs. We get $22 a day per prisoner. It costs us $60 to $70 per prisoner. Yeah, we get $22 from the state. Now we get the benefit of having the workers, right? We have them work at whether it be the ag center, it can be administrative buildings and road crews, and we get call it. I mean, it's not really free labor, but we have people that we can go to and have laborers do some work for the county. So we understand there's a benefit, there to that. But it actually was in the budget last year to increase that. I think it was only $5 a day, and maybe it got to $30. But it got redlined at the top after the fact, and just didn't go anywhere. The fire department question. So the Jackson County Corrections Institute is they do have a fire brigade there, and they have a transition group of guys that some are certified firefighter 1 and all the way to firefighter 2. They have trainers who are certified now who are still incarcerated, and their response times are rivaling just about every other fire department in Jackson County. Matter of fact, they're getting to fires first in some cases. They're not just they used to just get whatever's left over, equipment. The county, we have started to put more money into that, and I can't remember, I think someone in Hall County, maybe it was Hall County, got them a fire truck that was going out of service there, so that has been a big help. But the stories, I was at a Christmas party, and these stories of these guys coming out, instead of just getting a $25 check and the shirt on their back, getting out, that doesn't really help you a whole lot when you're trying to rehabilitate, right? You don't really have a skill, you get $25, we all know what's coming, they got to make money. And they end up back in the system. So this actually helps them put money aside. So when they leave, they have, some people are having their house down payments ready to go. When they get there, they're able to lease houses. They're able to get to do things that set them up to keep them off the street, right? And they are extremely grateful. I mean, these guys, some of these guys have gone on to start their own companies that are multi-million-dollar companies, and they all credit it to the start that they got. They saw that they didn't have to go to the street to make money. It really could be done by honest work if you just worked hard and used your head and made some good investments. And to hear these guys talk and being reunited with their kids and all kind of stuff like that. I mean, what a great program about trying to rehabilitate folks instead of just putting them in the system and then kicking them back out, knowing I'll see you in 3 weeks. They are doing a phenomenal thing up there with that. And they do, because they have the trainers in there now, there are municipality and volunteer fire departments that are sending their new cadets down to be trained by those guys at the burn facility, is my understanding, there in Jefferson. So, I mean, all good things. Of course, you got your bad apples, right? Some guys are just going to come back. But, yeah, they're doing some really good stuff over there with that. I'm proud of those guys. They do a great job. What other questions? Yes, ma'am. Need you. If I had a wireless mic, I'd bring it to you. Yeah. Just so you got they hooked the podium up right there. So if you guys want to step over there and ask questions, we can do that.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me on
Yes,
this?
ma'am.
I'm from a very small town in Connecticut, and it was lovely. And our mayor brought in a lot of low-income families, by low-income homes. It ruined the city, and I'm afraid that might happen to our little town here. Now, I lived there all my life till I moved here in Georgia in 1985, and I moved from Sandy Springs, which was all hustle and bustle and high crime and heavily populated. And I'm out here thinking, is that coming to me or am I going to die first? I'm not sure. But is there any way that when permits are submitted to build communities, where a clause could be put in that they cannot resell to capitalists? Can anything be done like that, written by this county to prevent that? And the second thing I want to know is, are these Chinese companies that are doing this, or just anybody? Do you know, Chad?
I don't know where the money comes from the venture capitalists. And as far as what the municipalities do, there's nothing, the county on that front. We don't have that kind of authority over a municipality.
Would anybody?
The municipality and the people that vote for the people who run the city. Yeah, the mayor and the council, that would be who I would think. I mean, they would want to get with their attorneys and find out what they
Can do.
can and can't do. I mean,
Okay, that was my question.
I would. I mean, I'm just going to guess, but if
I think, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we could write it into our ordinance for that. And, planning and zoning is, coming back to the agenda in January, and this would be a great, task right away for them, once that gets approved. That's correct, she said, thank you.
Okay, good. And Neil Martin, I'd like to know if you could help us move Christmas to January 25th, because I'm still not ready.
Yikes, that's gonna be a tough one.
January 25th. But I don't think it matters what day you move it to. I'm only going to shop the day before. Yeah. What other questions? What else do you guys want to know? Oh, I don't. I'd be lying if I know last I heard we were at 100. I think it was 120 something, down from 100 mid 40s. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
A little bit closer.
Tony Lancaster.
Is it on? It's not
Do you
on.
still
Hit the
need my
button.
address too?
Okay.
There?
Yes.
There?
There you go. I get it.
There? Okay. When did Jackson County find out that they were going to reassess the land in Jackson County? When did the governing body find that out?
We would have been notified probably first quarter.
Okay. One thing I would like to see done
Mhm.
is for people to be prepared
Mhm.
for their jobs. We were told, okay, you can appeal, we'll come out, we'll go through your home.
Mhm.
Then they said, oh, well, we're just overwhelmed right now, and we're not going to come through your home. If you're there, we'll come in and look at it. Oh, well, you didn't get, you have an upstairs finished space,
Mhm.
but it's just not heated. In other words, you're a liar. And that's what we were told. And when we went to the Jefferson meeting for the assessment meeting that they had there, they couldn't answer the person that was in charge of assessing the land couldn't answer any of the questions. How many appeals have you already had? I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. We want people to be prepared and ready to take on the job of doing what needs to be done. Shortly after we moved here, 2 years we've been here, shortly after we moved, we signed up for the Jackson County paper. And I still have it. It's a whole page editorial from the editor of the paper that said nothing has changed in 75 years. I believe that. But people keep moving in, and things need to be addressed.
Absolutely. I agree, 100%. First, let me apologize on behalf of the county for that experience. That was never our intention that somebody would not be prepared in that kind of a situation. We always try to find people who are competent and able to do the job. So the fact that you had that experience is not in any way, shape, or form what we were striving for. In their defense, we were overwhelmed, but at the same time, we still had a job to do. And the fact that we did not do that job even once isn't sufficient. We try to do the best that we can every time. So sorry that you've had that experience, and I know that we've had multiple conversations about that, trying to get those things, answered and fixed. I've been on multiple phone calls with your actual situation with people at the county on different levels, trying to push that through. So, did it ever get handled?
Oh, we haven't heard anything yet.
Okay.
They said that they were going to wait and do Crestwind last. They want to get their story straight so they can tell everybody in Crestwind the same thing.
Well, you guys vote. Of course they want to get their stuff straight.
Well, here's the problem.
Kidding.
I
Kid, that was a joke.
I don't know what is happening now in other counties, but when we checked with our taxes in Gwinnett County before, we were told that it's by your road frontage is how they start with the assessment. It's based on your road frontage.
That's what they said in Gwinnett?
Yes,
Okay.
at one time. Now, I don't know what's changed. I don't know what the guidelines are now as to how they address it. No one can tell us anything. Oh, well, we don't do that. That's somebody else. Oh, we don't do that. Somebody else does that. So we don't know. But I do know this, that every lot in Crestwind, whether you have 40 feet of road frontage or 70 feet of road frontage, your house property is appraised at $125,000 per house. Now that doesn't sound right.
That's just a lot, right? You're talking about not the house?
That's just a lot.
Okay.
That's just a lot. Everybody's is $125,000. Whether you have 40 feet of road frontage or you have 70 feet of road frontage. That's not, I'm sure that people who purchased a house for 40 feet of road frontage thought about that before they bought their house, about what the taxes would be.
As far as I know, of course, like any property, road frontage is going to have an effect, but it's going to be usually the size of the lot. And normally what they look at is, let's just use Crestwind since we're on that conversation, they're going to go look at all the houses and how they were sold and the paperwork when it was submitted on the sale of what the property value was, what the home value was, and the total acreage. Then they do the math on that, and it's kind of a blanket at that point on I'll call it a per square foot basis based on the land, and then obviously the size of the house, square footage, all those kind of things, and what's on the inside.
Well, that'd be great, but I don't think that's how it happened. In fact, I remember when the appraisal people came down, riding down the road and on our street and said, "Are all the houses cedars?" And we said, "No, they're not." When they could have gone down to the office, we have 15 different houses. They could have gone through there and assessed those 15 different houses and then decided how to do it.
Do I know?
But not according to the model, because that's how what they're doing. They're assessing them according to how the model is.
Well,
Yeah.
no, because I know someone that has a small house and they are appraised for a upstairs loft, and you can't get one. In fact, one person, when the appraisal people came out, they just happened to be close by, answered the phone, and they met them at the house and saw that they didn't have a loft in their house. They didn't have to go inside. They could see that there wasn't one because there's pull-down stairs.
Yeah, I don't know really how to address it's more of a statement than a question, but, I mean, I could just tell you what they explained to us was what I said a second ago about the size of the lot, and they kind of do a blanket, per square foot price for a neighborhood.
Well,
That's the way it's supposed to.
We have .19 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you bought that by the acre, that'd be about $650,000. Is what they've appraised it.
Fair, I mean,
And just to bring it to West Jackson Fire,
uh-huh.
buying land on Sam Freeman.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
They go out and offer $30,000 an acre for it. Bank value is $17,000. Wouldn't sell it for $30, so then raise the price up to $50. It's nowhere near $125.
No, I get it.
And that's for an acre.
Yeah. Like I said, all I could do is tell you how they explained it to us that it was
Well,
being done.
I'd like to hear how it's explained,
Okay. Sure.
because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take this back and we'll have a discussion with the folks down at the county again and see if they can get you the explanation you
Because
need.
no one's been able to explain it to us thus far.
Okay.
And we go and we talk to everybody.
Yeah, we'll keep
We
trying.
met the tax assessor, the people we pay it to, the people that do the appraisals, and they can't answer it.
Well, that should be the people who can.
Really haven't gotten an answer from anybody.
Yeah, well, I'll keep working with you. I've been working with you guys for months trying to get it handled, so. What else? Oh, yeah, Candace. Yeah. And we'll bring Candace down. That's fine. We can do that. Yeah. Candace is great. I know she gets a rough time a lot of times, but she's just trying to collect them. Go ahead. Oh, you were standing there. Go ahead.
Subject, go ahead. Is it the same subject? Okay.
Okay.
Hi, my name is
Hi.
Rosalie Vance, and
Hi
I
there.
live at Crestwind. Been here about a year, and just started substitute teaching,
Okay.
which is awesome. We've got some great schools.
Mhm.
As a teacher in other counties, I see a big difference
Good.
in the teachers and the students and the administration. They're just great. My concern is how long it takes a school bus to
Mhm.
get from Legacy Knoll
Mhm.
out Legacy Knoll Drive to 332.
332. Yep.
They might sit there for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
That's precious fuel.
Mhm.
Every day, every dollar that fuel goes up, the county is overflowed with.
Mhm.
They have to pay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any way, now, sometimes there's a police officer there, and sometimes there's not.
Mhm.
Is there any way that can be addressed? Because not only just for the students, they're sitting there with, diesel fuel
Mhm.
that they're breathing. So, that's my concern, and can the county do anything about that?
So a lot of that's school board, more than anything, when they reach out to the officers. I will tell you the sheriff's department is still 41 officers down,
Okay.
between the jail and the sheriff, so they are actively trying to recruit, and part of that is they may not have an officer available. We don't have an SRO in every single school for
Right.
the same reason. So, that's gonna end up, we can ask that question to the school board, but yeah.
Could they get a prisoner to do it?
Okay. Oh, boy. Well, we can see if we can make that part of their program, I guess.
I'm going to make a comment about that. When DOT was here, November, I think it was, and they presented their plans going forward, they were unaware of the school issue at 332, where you're talking about, where they have the caution signs right now. We made them aware of that, and they were going to look into that and update their study based on the schools being built there. So, oh yeah, there's Heroes is there, or still being built, right? Heroes. Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Since I brought up DOT, I just want to remind you they have agreed to come and speak at one of the mayor Q&As. That's going to be probably April, just so you know. Anyway.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, they made me use one.
I know. Just on a positive note, I'm sorry, I'm Bobby Kern, and I'm in Crestwind, only been there less than a month. So just so
Welcome.
you know. But what I'd like to know on something positive, could you tell us what's going on with the water situation as far as what you guys are doing to move forward? Please.
About all we can say at this meeting, because it's not a public hearing, so we can't really discuss it in detail, is we are in contract negotiation with Barrow County, and we are also, thanks to Chad, I have to tell you, are in conversations with Jackson County regarding water delivery. Unfortunately, that's all I can say at this time.
That's fine.
It's very positive. It's in the.
What does the paper say?
Barrow County Commissioners approved water purchase, Bingham is usually line going right down each of yours.
And it was, that same agreement, the Barrow County has already approved it on their end with their commissioners. However, we're still, it's still in limbo with the city of Houston. We're just, making sure that we, really cross all of our Ts and dot our Is. So, because this is a long-term project, with the infrastructure. But you will see it again on the January agenda, and we hope that we have everything ironed out. But that's a separate thing than the county. We're also working with Jackson County on partnership with them as well. As they grow, we're growing. The county as a whole is growing. So we're partnering, we're doing some partnership with the county as well so that we are all benefiting our hardship with our water issues. But it looks like we're getting that all ironed out. So it's good.
I want to say for at least some of us, congratulations. Thank you so much.
If this partnership with the county works out, which I think it will, and I think you probably think it will too. We went like this. Wait, what does that mean?
You're talking about the Jackson County Water and Sewer Authority and the county commission are two, they're a separate entity, so I can in no way, shape, or form really.
It's going to be
there.
very positive for Houston, I can tell you.
It is,
I can tell you that.
and being that I have been part of the meetings, I can tell you this, the partnership discussions will help Jackson County as a whole, because as the Water and Sewer Authority has talked about in the past, I mean, some of the upgrades they're talking about can be upwards of $160 million, I think was one of the public numbers that I saw. And with this, if we can, if they can figure out with Houston how to make things work both directions, this actually could be a really, really good thing for all of this side of Jackson County as a whole. So, but that's as far as I can go. The rest of it's up to the Water and Sewer Authority.
So we've got the new Publix coming in, and there's, you know, chatterbox about Kroger's coming in. Are we going to the companies, those companies, and asking them to help participate in the cost? If you can't tell me that, I understand that. But that would be something I think we should look at.
So I could tell you from my standpoint, in unincorporated Jackson County specifically, I have meetings with developers as much as possible in advance because we want green space. We want to be able to connect as much as possible to life pathways and those kind of things. We have a 20% canopy rule at the county. Basically, even if you buy a pasture, when you're done, 20% of the property has to have tree canopy covering it. So, you know what I found? It's really kind of interesting. When I first started talking to these developers, it was amazing how they would say, oh, the school system needs help? Yeah, man, we'd be glad to get involved in that. Oh, the city needs help with, yeah, you know, we'd be glad to get involved in that. What they want to know is what are the rules before the game starts, right? And as long as the rules don't change, the lot sizes don't change, the impact fees don't change, the, you know, size of the houses doesn't change, they're willing to work with us. And unfortunately, what's happened in the past is you've had developers just come in, buy the land, they get the rezoning, and, you know, either they get fought so hard and spend so much in legal fees that they're like, I'm going to build whatever whatever fits in the parameters. And then you'll have, the guys who will sit down with you and say, hey, if you work it out in the beginning, before it gets into all of that, it really is amazing what they're willing to try to do to improve. They want to be good citizens most of the time, and they want to improve the communities. And unfortunately, and sometimes well deserved, they get a bad rap, and then sometimes they get a bad rap because of the predecessors or the way things were done. I've just found that sitting down with these developers, I've had a developer who's actually sat down and said, hey, what is something in Jackson County that we can build that Jackson County needs? What do you guys need? What do you want? A Trader Joe's. Okay. I will put that on the list. So I got an economic developer. That's his job, to go out and recruit companies like that. So, no, really, for them now, the whole, for me, I don't know what the rest of the commissioners are doing as far as this goes, but I know on the west side and Jackson County as a whole, my vision is to do a much better job of planning what we as the community want, right? And what we as Jackson County want our county to look like and be like when they leave and go back to whatever state or county they're from. We got to live here. I got 4 kids to raise here, right? So, but when I sit down with them, and they'll just say, hey, I mean, what kind of houses do you want, or what kind of facilities do you guys want here? Do you want something like like an Avalon that's got the shopping and the amphitheater stuff? Do you want something that includes horse parks and walking trails and all that kind of stuff? The key is, at the end of the day, they got to be able to make some money, right? Or they're not going to do it. But they're willing to build it in such a way that that's what we as a community would like. Are we all going to agree on what we want it to look like and exactly what we want it to be? No. But I believe that if we get the chance to talk about it, that you'll come up with the best ideas, right, as a group. No one individual always has the best ideas. I've always found if you get in a group like this and you start even just spitballing about different things, that you come up with a really, really good idea, sometimes a great idea, and what you want it to be. So they're willing to do it and sit down, and I'm doing that with some of the developers in unincorporated. I'm sure they would do the same for Houston. Got to get to the mic. Or you just come right here. Hit this one right here if you...
Well, I'd like to say that, we've been here about 2.5 years. And when I was born in Beaufort, Georgia. I lived in Beaufort, Georgia all my life. And I was always proud to say that I was from Beaufort, Georgia. And I've shared with one of the commissioners already. I'd like to say I'm proud to be from the city of Houston, which I think we can work toward that. But what I see is that we're more worried about Jackson County, the development in Jackson County and the city of Houston than we are being ready for it. We need to work on some. I think the note that I got said we talk about traffic. We building houses everywhere. I haven't seen a new road go in anywhere. I haven't seen anything done about the traffic. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I was in construction 43 years. I'm proud of the ones that are in here now in the city of Houston, but we need to, I've said it 2 or 3 times, we need some good city inspectors.
Yeah.
And if you're the city manager, I'll come and talk to you. But I just think that we're getting ahead of ourselves on this. All we've talked about here is about development.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about houses, where they're going to rent or where they're going to live in them or sell them, but we haven't talked about anything. We're getting so far ahead of our infrastructure, and we need to get the infrastructure. We need to slow down. I mean, nobody's going to slow down. I'm sorry for that, but we need to get that caught up too. We need, our traffic out here. You're talking about the school bus can't get out. We can't get out of Peachtree Road, like that, and we're more and more and more is coming. I think we need to look at that. Are we going to overwhelm ourselves like that?
Absolutely. You want to talk about the DOT? That's okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I'll say one more thing.
Sure.
you don't have to listen to me or anything like that, but I think he would make a good chairman, so.
Well, one thing I'll promise you is I'll keep talking to you. I won't avoid your calls. I return text, I return emails, voicemails, direct messages, Facebook messages, pigeon notes if they come to me, I guess, by the mail.
He's not good on the pigeon.
No, I'm not good with the pigeons yet. No, but I just believe. I do. Yeah.
He returns your call, he returns your call every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I work for you guys. I mean, that's the way that I feel about it, and that was one of the reasons I got in the race originally. I just got tired of trying to, make a phone call and trying to get somewhere and never even getting so much as a go away pound sand. I tell people I had one video that had 10,000 views and 1,000 comments, and I think I answered every one of them. The Vulcan Mind thing came up, and I've gotten hundreds, if not 1,000, emails, phone calls, and text messages, and I've done my best to answer every one of them. Some people say some really bad things and call me some things that, which is fine, but I'm still going to answer them. I'm still going to answer them. Even if they are ugly, I'm still going to answer them because they deserve an answer. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that alone. We can have that covered. My wife is just way too nice. That's right. So back to your traffic. I mean, I don't want to miss the question here because I can go down this all day. But the traffic. Okay, so this is going to be a hard conversation to have in Jackson County. Okay, we are behind, as we know, and this is going to be an expensive conversation. We currently, if we ran the taxes the way they run now, and we have the road budget that we have right now, I'm not sure that if we could catch the growth on our current budget. I've taken multiple classes as a commissioner on transportation and everything, trying to figure out, what ways, how do you move traffic, how do you do these things, what do bypasses look like, what does this stuff have to do, how do you raise money for this. T-Splost is going to be a conversation we're going to need to have, which is the penny tax for transportation. I think it's 5, 6, 7 years ago we had a regional version of that. I don't remember what all counties were in it, but it got voted down. The regions that did it, at the time they were collecting about, I think it was, the numbers they showed us were like 56 million is what they were getting. After the T-Splost, they get over 300 million. So it's anywhere from 3 to 5 to 7 times the amount of money. I was talking with our folks earlier, and I think our regular Splost now, over a 6-year period, it was well over $100 million. I can't remember what the exact number was. I should have written it down. But, basically, that's the kind of money that you could split across the county and start doing roads. Now, I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm not against it, but these are conversations we need to have as a community. And I have people tell me, I have one guy, that far from my face, tell me I am not paying another tax to Jackson County. And I said, okay. I said, do you shop at the Mall of Georgia? And he said, of course. I said, well, you pay Gwinnett County a penny for transportation. I said, do you go to Hall County for any events? He said, of course. I said, then you pay Hall County a penny for their transportation. Barrow just passed theirs. They have to ratify it still at the county with the municipalities and all that kind of stuff, so you're going to pay them. So would you rather continue to pay them and us get nothing when their people come here and visit us and come to Road Atlanta and eat in our restaurants? Or would you like for them to participate when the truckers and the people up at the outlet malls, whenever they shop up there? A lot of people don't realize those outlet malls are in Jackson County, right? That retail all comes to Jackson County. So that penny there, that's a big, big number. Now, I just want to have a conversation. Is it something that we are willing to do? This is going to be hard, but this is the situation they're in. This is the cards we're dealt. If I'm the chairman, these guys, I had this conversation with Debbie. I said, you can be as mad as you want to be about the state of where Houston is, but when you take office, the facts are, this is where you are. Deal with the truth, right? And from the truth, where you're really at, we can move forward. And we're going to do the same thing in the county. We're going to take a serious assessment, and we're going to try to figure out, all right, here's the truth. How do we deal with it? Our current budget for roads isn't going to fix this problem. We offered Georgia DOT, somebody said the other day, take some of those millions of dollars that you guys are, or bring it in at the county and fix the roads. We've offered DOT sometimes as high as, I think it was $6 million in certain projects, like with the off ramps and things like that. And I mean, we've offered to pay. Sometimes we're like, well, that's federal money, and you can't mingle federal money with local money. I get that. We've offered for 124 places on Highway 53, different roundabouts, all kinds of things like that. Putting in turn lanes in some places, widening a road enough that you can make a turn lane so that people can get by. Hey, we'd be willing to help with the studies for traffic lights. We've offered millions of dollars to Georgia DOT to try to do just that. But the thing about Georgia DOT is that we're Georgia in the front. They get to decide, right? And sometimes if you can't pay enough of a particular project, you know, that's, unfortunately, they're dealing with the entire state. If you have something like a T-Splosh and you can, you know, bring in other money where you can buy right-of-ways and pay engineering and do some things like that, you get moved up the list. So, go ahead.
Could you explain our tax base now? Is it 7%?
Yes, 7. You're talking about just Houston or the county in general? I think there's, 7. Yeah. Yes, there's a splosh for the schools, yes. And a regular splosh that's for capital projects for the county and municipalities. Yeah, so I think it's 4 cents goes to the state and 3 stays here. So, yes, ma'am.
That's Kroger.
Oh, I that's a Houston question. I don't know.
Well, what can we do, as the city of Houston? Can we come up with a petition, get the DOT, at least for the traffic light from Peachtree, when you come out of the post office?
Yeah, so DOT is, I'm not, there's some places they're going to put red lights, so don't get me wrong when I say this, but we've asked them, even up at, with the new high school, middle school, with Legacy Knoll Heroes and all that coming in, to put a red light out there, and they said no. They made us put in a roundabout. We're spending $5 million between the state and us to put in a roundabout, up there. So the roundabout's going to be at the new Legacy Knoll, road. Not Legacy Knoll Road, no, it's Skelton, the new Skelton Road, thank you, and 332.
I would have never thought in a million years, 124 roundabout would have worked as well. We have worked as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Yeah, there's going to be. I mean, it's big, and they're trying to get it done. The last part of the engineering went in, and I believe has been approved, and it should be up before the next school year starts. Or at least close.
And I'd like to add something to this as well. The parcel that you're talking about will actually be the Kroger. The city council, the mayor, Dr. Jerry Weiss, Dr. Hood, and so forth, they have all worked on and worked with Kroger about a stoplight. There is going to be a stoplight at the intersection of 53 and Peachtree. No, it's not.
Kroger's estimated completion is, spring of 2025.
Yeah.
With the new road. They will not be able to really open it until the lights are in also.
Yeah, and the other thing about outgrowing our infrastructure a little bit, we talked about Georgia and the DOT. One of the things that I'm really proud to sit on up here with Debbie and our Mayor Martin, sorry about that, and work with them and people like Chad as well. Now that we're on first name basis,
don't call me late for dinner.
Is some of the things that we have done internally. We know what the county's trying to do, and now we're looking a little internally as well. And some of the things, as you all have heard about the sewer system, we're growing that tremendously. And by 2028, 2029, we will have that up to what they call a phase 2, which will support anything we're going to do in the future. The water system that was alluded to a little bit earlier is really building for tomorrow's infrastructure and growing that, and helping that along, and also not just in Houston, but for the county and so forth. Then what we're looking at in January is it's going to be on sometime January or February. The mayor's kind of said that we'd like to look at internal streets, like they call them corridors, looking at corridors, what we can do to help divert some of our traffic. And the interesting thing about that is we're actually working with developers on that. So it's kind of a mutual agreement there, so we can have the corridors that will help our traffic somewhat. It's not going to help the 53 that much, but it might help some of the bus stops and things like that. Yeah.
No, it was not.
Okay, so the next house though, closest to the red garage, if there's a home, kind of comes to
That is the property, yes.
but not that historical house.
No.
Go ahead.
Said we have a master plan.
Yes, as a county, we do.
Where's it,
Do I know? I'm sorry.
where's it posted? Where, is it up someplace?
It should be online. I think I can't tell you how to get to it, but if you give me make sure I can email you the link.
Appreciate that.
And that was about the master plan for anybody on the line. He was asking where to find the master plan. What else you guys want to talk about? I'm up for anything. Go ahead. I see it in your eye. You want to ask a question?
Greg Hanson. The red herring seems to be Highway 53.
Yes.
The subject nobody really can address with any silver bullet. Is there something at your level? Because you started to talk about additional taxes, et cetera.
Sure.
Maybe you could elaborate a little bit more on that, because that seems to be the grand, big issue.
Right. So, yeah, we continue to talk about with the road guys and Kevin Poe, our county manager, and Georgia DOT about their studies for bypasses and things like that in different places that we could put them. And I believe I've had this conversation with the mayor that says, you know, if you go down this road with a T-splost, you could partner with some of the municipalities and the portions they're going to get and say, okay, here's what we want to do to alleviate. We can take that kind of stuff on our own to build our own road as a bypass. We don't have to wait on DOT to do a bypass and a study and for them to tell us that, you know, oh, we don't have enough trucks driving through there to do it. And I'm like, I tell you what, my office is on Highway 53. Right down there, and any day you want to come sit in my parking lot, I'll bring you coffee. You can sit there and count the trucks that go in and out down there. But so I've had those conversations with them, and they have a session a lot of times when you go to these GDOT meetings and say, look, if money wasn't an option and land didn't matter, draw me what you would do. Right? What would you do? How would you solve the problem? And you kind of sit there with markers and you talk about it, and then ideas start coming up, because all of a sudden you start seeing lines and property lines that you're like, wait a minute, that might actually have some merit to it. I mean, of course, you're going to run into roadblocks here and there and things at wetlands and other stuff, and there's ways to get around that. But, you know, once you start dreaming, as they said, you know, sometimes you're starting like, man, that's really close. That's 75% of the way done. You know what I mean? Like, without some issues, and that business is, you know, a pretty good chunk. So, fire away.
What makes sense to me is Highway 60 becoming an interchange and creating a bypass from 60 from the freeway straight on through, and all. There's a lot of rural land.
Have you been in all these DOT meetings with us? No. Because that's it's pretty good start. Just saying, it's a pretty good start. So, yeah, by 2050, at this point, everybody's like, oh my God, 2050, there's going to be a cloverleaf exit on Highway 60. DOT has been talking about that. They also, in the last plans that I saw, had said that Highway 60, they want eventually to 4-lane that all the way to Gainesville. So.
And these are the plans that, we saw them at the same time.
Yeah.
That they're going to come out and share in our mayor Q&A.
Yeah.
It's
Yes, sir.
pretty exciting. But, come on, 2050?
I mean,
I don't know about me.
I may still be.
But there is
Commissioner
short-term plans also, which are fascinating.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I've heard a rumor that Sam Freeman is going to become, 60 is going to be extended all over, for the
You may have been in those meetings too. Yeah, so like you said, if you were able to just dream. Yeah, except, I mean, again, back to the how do you fund that? Who pays for that and how do you fund it?
Well, take a sign, look around, put it right there, put it turn, and put it in every corner. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are, I mean, all those discussions are being had, and then as you go down through there, you know, of course, you've got the big Steadfast Farms that road runs right into, and then what do you do? How do you get there? So again, you're talking about 75% of the way there. But I go back to this, okay? If that's a discussion, and I said this to the city mayors, if I've got these developers who are willing to play ball and help us do those kind of things, let's decide what we want to do in that area as a community, and let's go find somebody who's willing to do it and make sure that we get that land donated and not have to, or, you know, how do you get from here to there, like, and allow them to do what they need to do to make some money. At the same time, we get the benefit of having a bypass. I mean, all those kind of conversations, again, they're dreaming, right? So whether those are reality conversations you can have or not, but you can have them. I got developers willing to talk about it. Yeah, go ahead. You got another one? No? 2 questions. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, my gosh.
Sam. Okay, I'll say 'em. In the when you were talking about tax digest, you mentioned 38,000 parcels. Is that private homes that you're talking about?
No. The number that they gave us when they talked about the tide, this is over a year ago, so I mean, we've had some additional, you know, splitting and things like that happen. But that was the total number of parcels in general, and that goes from farms to homes.
Commercial.
Yeah, everything. That was every parcel.
Low. It seems low.
Well, you got to understand, Jackson County is still like 70% agriculture.
Oh, okay.
So outside of the West, that seems like a low number. You ain't got to go far, and it's 100-acre farms, and
Okay.
plus 200-acre farms. It doesn't take long, but yeah. And Jackson County is, look, run a county-wide campaign. You will figure out how big this county is. Lord have mercy. It's a big one.
And you were talking about, you had been at some of the meetings that they approve new school locations. Are you able to share where those are?
No.
Okay.
Now, until the school has signed contracts, you know, they're not going to do any of that. Okay. Oh, boy. Yeah, turn on your microphone.
You can tell we've been hanging out. We've been coughing the whole time.
I'm going to sit over the other side of David.
Yeah, and poor Jen over here, she's been coughing too. You had mentioned that there's ways that the citizens can give their input.
Mm-hmm.
Is it by a survey, and is it online, or how would they get involved in this planning?
Right. So part of the beginning of part of this was the Chamber of Commerce sent out a survey, and we had, I think it was close to 1,000 people answer the survey about what we would like to see in Jackson County. It's actually kind of interesting because you started to see threads, no matter the age or demographic. You really started to see some common threads for things that people would like to see in Jackson County. And what was the rest of your?
So is this available?
Okay.
Can we put? Is there somewhere that can you send me a link and then we can put this online for our citizens?
So,
Actually, that's
the next one.
That's a January Q&A that the survey results will be provided from the county and specifically Houston. And in that survey, that county survey, I have been told that Houston was the biggest response of all the cities.
They were.
Awesome.
But I think what she's talking about is a strategic plan that I mentioned about
that's
getting
what I'm
input.
talking about.
Okay.
So that's not been, it's coming.
Oh, it hasn't been out.
Hasn't started yet.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
saying when it does, I'm sure the paper will have a write-up on it, because that's a big deal. I mean, you're talking about 10, 20, 40, 50-year plan, and then you start to see where commercial and industrial and all those kind of things. And I can just put this on the record. As long as my vote, if my vote is a deciding vote, though, I'm not voting for another warehouse in Jackson County. If there is a warehouse that is 500,000 square feet and it's let's just say like a plumber or an electrician or somebody who has it can even be home decor, their sales center in the front and the warehouse in the back to hold their stuff, that's a whole different conversation. But and understand that I think it's 26% of the warehouses in Jackson County are in unincorporated. The rest of them, all 74%, are in a municipality. I am just not interested in bringing, at this moment, any more trucks, and all those kind of things. And that I've had the developers call me and say, hey, what's your take? No, not for me. Not on the west side. You know, you can talk to other commissioners if they want to put them, in their facility or their district. That's fine. I said, but you talk about the traffic problem we already got. It's not just the trucks either. I mean, some people say, well, give me 10 trucks versus, 1,000 houses with cars trying to come out of a neighborhood, right? Now, industrial is not bad for us. We have places we need to put it, right? We have industrial parks, and we have land that's, up north on Commerce where they've got industrial parks designed to go and are building those out. That's fine. But as far as putting them down, 124, there's some things that we need to do in those areas with commercial for retail and some things to get the dollar spending more than one time in Jackson County. Right now, it's one, maybe two times, maybe, that the dollar turns in Jackson County, and the average is 2 to 3 times that. So, and all that means is, you go shopping here, you go to Publix, the dollar goes up to corporate, right? If you have a mom and pop shop, you got the homeowner lives here, they pay taxes here, their people are employed here, and the dollar turns. It goes to schools here, it goes to different things here, and you just want the dollar to keep circulating locally as long as possible. So those are the kind of things when we start talking about commercial and retail and restaurants that we want. I would rather see entrepreneurs locally open places, like a local station or Sliced or something like that. Those, I love to see the local folks. But if we don't have that option and somebody says, hey, I've got an Outback, it's not my first choice, but I mean, what we need is somebody that is going to have taxes and pay taxes that isn't going to affect the school system, the water, and all those kind of things. You know what I mean? That's the water, obviously, as you guys know, is our biggest concern. Obviously, we're addressing it. But at the same time, if you can get the tax revenue to come in commercial, we are way residential versus commercial in our tax digest, and we need to do a better job of leveling that out. And I have constant meetings with the economic developer. I shared this stat at a speech that I did. You guys have any idea how much money Jackson Countyans spend a year on automobiles, new automobile purchases? Yeah, $240 million. You know how much of that is spent in Jackson County? It's like $76 million. It's like a $6 million tax loss to Jackson County if you got all those purchases in Jackson County. Oh, I'm not. Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. But my point is that the sales dollars, the SPLOST dollars, and everything else that can continue to come in commercially, if you can get those dollars up, the residential dollars can come down, right? And that's what you want. You want the commercial to carry that burden. In Jackson County is lopsided. No, we get the sales tax dollars, right? Yeah, we still get the sales tax dollars, but what I'm saying is that money that goes to corporate, the profits that go to that pay employees and everything else, goes to their corporate headquarters. It's their profit outside of Jackson County, is what I'm saying. Like mom and pop shops, the people who are the entrepreneurs who own their businesses in Jackson County, those profits and dollars are spent in Jackson County, which means the dollar turns over more times for more tax revenues in Jackson County. So, sorry if that wasn't clear the first time. What else? Somebody give me a crazy one. Go ahead. Yeah, sure. Fire away. Oh, any idea when Publix is opening? When is Publix going to open?
June of 2024. Well, yeah.
All right. You got another one?
Ross, come on.
Give it
Don't
to
let
me.
us down.
No, this is more of a statement than a question. I've been in my share of city council meetings over the last 2.5, 3 years we've been here. And we've heard a lot of stuff that's going up and down 53. A lot. 5 years, it'll all be built out, all the way down. There won't be any more. You go down Peachtree Road, you go over the bridge, all that can go too. 211 can go too. All be developed. So the next 5 years are going to be extremely important. Extremely. And the quicker all this can, get started. I love the fact that we have some new faces on the council, and Chad's coming around a little bit. No, I hope Chad gets to be,
Chairman.
Head commissioner.
Chairman.
Chairman of the commission, because I got some ideas about incorporating fire departments.
I look forward to hearing them.
But anyway, that's the future. But yeah, the next 5 years, it'll all be built out down 53.
Yeah, and just so I have commissioners, the networks of commissioners, and I'm really good friends with two folks who were commissioners in Gwinnett County for 20 years ago. And I asked the question, what mistakes did you make and what would you do different? Right, and man, do they have a lot to say. But one of the smart things that they did down in Gwinnett County is they went up to New York and figured out how New York handled water. And they brought those ideas back to Gwinnett, and that's some of the things that they were able to implement down there that were fairly effective. But, a lot of this is not just about, having good ideas. Sometimes it's about finding the people who have made the bad decisions, and let's not repeat history.
Yeah, let's not do what they did.
Yeah.
Oh, New York?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring your credit card. Yeah, what up, Ross? Anything else? You good?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Ross.
Go ahead. Yes, sir. Nope. No, there's, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but there's some things that are coming from the commission that are going to be, if they try to do what they're trying to do, are going to be newsworthy for what they're trying to do to District 3. Go ahead. Okay, so he asked, who would I recommend for the District 3 commissioner? And right now, I am the District 3 commissioner, so the seat's not open. So, and until I actually qualify in March, if I told somebody the other day, and I said, until I qualify, I am the District 3 commissioner. And, at some point, unless the good Lord points me in another direction, I feel like he's the one that's told me to run for the chair. If he says not to, then we won't, and there'll be a whole lot of people that have spent some money that'll probably be upset at me. Yes, I have to resign the day I qualify. Or I could resign ahead of time.
Gee, that sounds so familiar to me.
Yeah, Debbie's having flashbacks. Oh, see, you're about to make me go down a road that I wasn't going to go down tonight. He asked me, can they appoint an interim? As the charter stands in Jackson County, if you're within 180 days of the end of your term, they can appoint a commissioner. If it's longer than 180 days, it has to be a special election. So they have the other I'll just say the chairman has decided that he would like the state to adjust that charter so that they can make an appointment should I step down. So they're going to ask our representatives to adjust our charter next year so that the commissioners get to decide, not the people. That they will appoint a interim commissioner, and he would run as an incumbent against anybody else that runs. So that is one of the things that they have gone to the attorneys for, and they are currently trying to write a resolution to basically circumvent the fact, if you can't tell, I'm not their favorite. So,
well, you're ours, just so you know.
I vote my conscience, and I vote the way that I believe this country is founded, not on who my friends are, who's politically connected, whatever. I vote my conscience. So,
who can we contact regarding this? Because it seems, let me just say, it seems not right.
It seems like a cronyism kind of thing to me. So,
who can we contact?
Your state representatives. They are going to have to carry it at the state.
Can you give us names specifically?
Emery Donahue, Houston Gaines, Persinger, Holt Persinger is in the House. You got Frank Ginn, who is our local senator. They're going to have to pass it on both sides of the House. I know exactly why they're doing it. They believe that an incumbent has a much better chance at holding the seat, and this is an effort to try to hold on to their power and take the voice away from the people. And that's exactly what I've run on this the whole time. It's about you and your voice and the people of Jackson County's voice, not about 4 or 5 guys sitting in a back room making a backroom deal, and that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
One more time, go ahead.
Craig again. I read in the paper about an intermodal rail line going from Savannah to Gainesville.
Mm-hmm.
Is any of that going through Jackson County?
Oh. I think it does come through Jackson County somewhere, but I don't know that I know the final.
Could there be a spur into Jackson County, maybe take some of that traffic onto the rail?
So the interport is going to be in North Hall, right? So they would be a pretty straight shot to haul from, and that's going to keep, I don't know if you guys realize, it was like thousands and thousands of trucks off the roads going into Atlanta around Jackson County, so. We have all the warehouses because you can get to the Atlanta airport in less than an hour in the same day, so you can leave at 5 o'clock and still get the plane out on time. I mean, that's the main reason. Anybody that's ever dealt in logistics knows you draw a line, if the time frame, how far out, and then you draw the circle, and then you see how can my trucks get to the airport to get this stuff out same day that it comes in. I mean, that's the short version of the logistics classes that I was in college.
Someone who might be in the know about that is Ben.
Yeah. Ben, can you come to the microphone? I'm just kidding.
Do you know where the rail is going to run from Savannah? What city it's going to run through Jackson County? You don't know.
No.
Just so you know, I invited all the mayors to attend this tonight for Jackson County. Unfortunately,
no, they didn't show.
No, they weren't able to attend.
Quite a few called me though. I told them I wouldn't throw them under the bus if they weren't here.
Okay, so
they're out of town.
They're out of town.
Several out of town, yeah.
Yeah, I seem to remember Nick from Pendergrass saying something about Pendergrass, but I cannot confirm that. So,
go ahead.
This is on positive though.
Sure.
So in November, I had the opportunity to spend the day at West Jackson Middle School.
Mm-hmm.
If they are a reflection of this county, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
They are by far so well mannered, so polite. That principal, her name escaped me.
Lori King.
Yeah.
What a wonderful institution she has there.
Oh,
Miss Conway.
anyway,
go ahead.
Sorry.
But that's just a tremendous reflection on the county, I think.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good. I don't, my bills are long gone, but when I see that school tax dollars, I don't have an issue with it because that is a product. I think you're in trouble because I think you're going to have competition coming out of that.
That's fine. But by the time those kids get to that age, by all means. One of the things I would tell you, and I make this offer in a lot of places, if you guys have not been up to the College and Career Center in Power up there to see what's going on up there, we really could use, and I say this to people, like if you've got expertise in any kind of a field and want to come talk to those kids, we want you to come give your knowledge to these kids. We have incredible, everything from entrepreneurship to, they're driving heavy equipment to welding, agriculture, nursing, pharmaceuticals. They are doing all kinds of things up there. And I've even talked to my dad. I said, look, these kids could really use some of that knowledge you have to, impart to somebody. Please don't take it with you. Come up there and see what's going on. And we're getting ready to start night classes to help retrain some of the adults in our community as well with Lanier Tech there. It's going to be really, really cool. And I'll tell you one story, and then I'll take another question. We had a kid's mom who came up to me and said she wanted to say thank you. I've spent 7, 8 years, maybe 9 years now working on that College and Career Center. I'm the chair of the board. And the mom comes up, she says, I just want to say thank you for the investment and what you guys have done here. She said, my son was in the excavator class and went out to C.W. Matthews to get his certificate, to be certified last year. And he passed, and they offered him $30 an hour, $60,000 a year, 18 years old when he graduates, to come work for them. And she said, that's more money than my husband and I make combined. She said, you guys have changed the future for my kids, for my grandkids, and the generations to come in Jackson County. She said, and I just want to say thank you. So, but to me, that's what this whole thing about Jackson County is about, right? As running for chair as a commissioner, it's about making the entire place better. It's up in Jefferson at, is that Highway 11 and 129? The old Jackson County High School. All in, I mean, the school system is, you know, they donated that building. I mean, there's probably, if I had to guess, $20-30 million worth of investment between local companies, industries, school, maybe higher than that. Dr. Brown could tell you for sure.
There's so much talent in this room.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to point anybody out because they were back there shaking their head no at me.
But
yeah, and they're laughing now too.
Go ahead.
Anyway, there's other people I'm kind of looking at you now that you could donate your time. Just go speak to these children, these young adults.
Nick Guyman says he is watching.
Pardon?
Nick is watching.
We're talking about what our future is, our future is our kids.
That's exactly right.
And if we don't raise our kids, give them leadership, and direct them in the right way, we don't do everything we want to.
That's right. You come see those kids, you'll change the thought about where this county and this country's headed. These kids are workers. I mean, they are. It is fantastic to watch these kids. Do I know? Oh, and Power still has room. Like, we still have plenty of room over there. We have Foothills in there. Lanier Tech is in there. UNG is in there. Oh, West Jackson. I apologize. I thought you were talking about Empower. Yes. Seems like every time we build a school, we got more kids than we have space. Which? Oh, the old Brazelton High School. The town of Brazelton owns that, not the school system. The school system sold that to the city. Yes, they did.
But I understand that they are turning it into a private school.
They are trying to, yes, ma'am. A charter school, yeah. They are trying to. There's some interesting quirks with that, because that land sat half in Houston, half in Brazelton, so the state carved it out and said neither one of the municipalities can annex it, and it belongs to the county. So it's our decision when they come to do permits.
And they'll be before the board in March?
It's soon, yeah, I'm going to say first quarter. I mean, they're coming, the charter school is, they got some really good ideas, and, you know, one of the things I'd like to do, Mayor, is get the Brazelton mayor together probably in January or sometime and have like a community-wide conversation for this entire area, because we need to work with Brazelton and Houston and the county.
Yeah.
You can do all you want in one municipality, but we're all connected from the interstate to here, and we need to, I think it'd be great for Houston to hear what Brazelton's working on. I think it'd be great for Brazelton to hear what Houston's working on, and for everybody for the county to hear what both are working on, and for both of them to hear it from the county. So we may try to set something like that up in January.
Sounds great, definitely.
Anybody else? Any topic? No?
We
I
all
have
have
exhausted the questions. I promised to stay till you guys were done.
You've all been fabulous. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hope to see you in January.
And don't forget to vote in May. Bingham with a B. Beautiful boy.
And call those people.
Yeah. If you
don't like
say
what
call
you
your
heard.
state representative so that we don't, they don't get to. We'll just go with that. So, again, I've got my card up here. It has my cell phone number on it. If anybody didn't get one, you don't have my cell phone number, come get me. You can text me, call me, Facebook,
There's
direct
one more
message, whatever.
question from the floor.
Was there one?
Roxanne?
Uh-huh.
Can you repeat them? Or do you?
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't, the whole resolution hasn't even come to the commission to vote yet. But if the commission passes it, I promise you there'll be one opposed vote. But if the commission passes it, they could take it to the state, and then the legislators would have to carry it.
So is it too early to call them now?
Oh, no, let them know, because they're getting feedback from everybody now. I mean, I wouldn't say call your commissioner, because the vote is no. But I found out about that today, and this has been going on for weeks, if not months, behind the scenes, if that tells you guys how some of these things are done. I tell people all the time, there's backroom deals and all that stuff, and people think, oh, you're crazy, it doesn't happen like that. I promise you, I found out today from our assistant county manager, and they've been talking about this with the attorneys for months. So, yeah. Who? Well, one's retiring, and you have the option to vote for the other. So, but again, look, it's politics, y'all, right? And you just got to understand, they're not doing anything illegal, right? It's not illegal. Is it unethical? Immoral? Right? I mean, that's for the voters to decide, right? And I think you're going to have I know you have two completely different visions and two completely different directions for Jackson County to vote on. And we're going to get to decide. But I believe the people decide, not four people sitting in a back room deciding who they want it to be. That's not how this works. This is not how it goes. So, oh, they're changing. And what about them? Oh, yeah, the District 5 is an open seat right now. It was Marty Clark. Yeah, Marty was District 5. He resigned a month ago, and yeah, so his seat is going to be up in March, which that doesn't have anything to do with anybody in this room unless you live in Pendergrass or Talmo or outside of 124 north of Highway 60. So, but yeah, that vote will come up in March with the presidential primary, and then mine will be at our local primary with myself and the sheriff on that. This is District 3, but that won't be on the ballot. Yeah. Yeah, we're District 3. Anything else? All right. Have a good night. Happy New Year.